Today we're going to talk about payment plans, and I want to send this video to you if you ask me in a text message. That way we can have this very intimate, private conversation face to face, and I don't want to miss anything, but I also don't want to scare you off by text message. Sometimes conversations are great in text because it's like boom, 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 and then other times, like with money and controversial topics, I'll send you a video because there's a lot more to it that I want to get you in a big picture. To answer your question directly, we do offer payment plans. There are a couple of things that I found that make your experience more difficult, so I'm going to walk you through those as we watch this whole video. But to answer your question, yes. And here's what that's going to look like. You're going to decide what the arbitrary number of your goals. So let's say you were hoping to stay at $2,500 for your dress. And so I want you to factor that, think about tax and all that fun stuff, and then tell me in our phone call or in a text message how much you plan on putting down the day you say yes to the dress, which for many of you is the first appointment that we meet in person. That way, if you can start thinking about that math, it'll make everything so private and clear, and I can discuss that with you in your pre-appointment phone call. So once I make your video for you and start getting all your guests together, I'm going to be doing all this prep work for our actual visit. And so one thing I want you to do is send me a text message right now if you haven't noted this somewhere. That way I don't forget to have it on the call. Or you can tell me, hey Sue, I've got some numbers. I wanted to crunch some payment options with you on the call. What that does for you is it takes the stress and like the practical kind of homework out of it. So that way when you come in for your appointment, your guests aren't part of that conversation. You and I can have everything decided, and then it just flows. And that way you're not like, everybody, hold up, aisle 3, we gotta have a little, it just makes everything feel so effortless. And I think appointments are way more fun when you don't have all this homework to do. Now that you've decided, okay, based on this $2,500 plus or minus tax, this is how much I'm putting down in the first appointment, then you're going to think about the next month and the next month and so on, if necessary. There is a $50 service charge for each additional month, and depending on your wedding date, let's say you have 12 months or more, there's going to be some options and flexibility that I'll discuss with you in the call. If you have 6 months or less, it's going to limit you on options, but I can tell you now that I'm going to be as flexible as I can be and try to save you costs anywhere I can, but I'm also going to want to save you time because you're a very busy woman and you have a demanding schedule. The wedding is around the corner, and we want to think about that if you have a short timeline. We know how much we're putting down in that first appointment, and now you've thought about month 2 and 3, you know about the service fee, and you're trying to figure out, okay, what does that look like? Now I want to walk you through how you're going to pay remotely, because that's something I want you to know up front. If you're paying remotely, you have 2 options. You have to come to the store and physically use your chip reader and credit or debit. And that will not work for everyone. Some of you are like, well, I don't live there and there's no way in hell you're gonna get me to drive there just to use the chip reader. So you're gonna use the remote pay option, which is Zelle. Now, some of you used Zelle to make your deposit. You use Zelle on a regular basis like I do. I pay my lawn guy, my housekeeper, everybody gets payment through Zelle. But it is not valid for credit and debit. So in my payments tab of my main menu in the website, I've made everything very transparent with you about Zelle because I know how much fraud is out there and I don't want you to be at all feeling wishy-washy about your payment. That's something that should be very straightforward. So in my payments tab, I'm telling you my Zelle business address and all the options that I'm discussing now. You'll see them publicly posted on my website. And that can sometimes be a decision-making factor for some of you. Let's cover the 2 hot buttons that you are going to need to think about as you are on a payment plan. So number 1, you have a monthly service fee. Depending on how many months you have, I may be able to work with you on that. And then secondly, your ETA. The moment you say yes to the dress, the very next question you should be asking is, when is this thing coming in? Well, when you're on a payment plan, that date will not be saved in your customer login screen. If you notice on my website, I have a customer login, and that's because you, as an Ava's bride, will have your own password. You'll go straight to my website, you'll type in your password, and you'll have this wonderful place online where you and I are in writing and we're on the same page. You never have to worry about, well, Sue told me that, but I don't understand. It'll all be there for you in writing. Well, your ETA will be pending until we reach a balance of 0. And that is very uncomfortable for a lot of us because the very next question before you even leave the dressing room, before you even go to the party room is, well, when is my dress coming in? And you can see how a person with a long engagement wouldn't be as stressed by that, but a person with 6 months or less, 8 months or less, that would be a trigger. definite stress maker. So as long as you know that going into it, that will help you know, okay, my balance is 0, I'll get my ETA, and that's going to be important to me, so I can factor that in as I'm planning out how long I want to do my payment plan. Now we're going to talk about the party room. You've seen the party room in my videos, and if you haven't, I'll link a store tour in the description below. But when you go to the party room, that room is my gift to you. We designed this floor plan because we were in other spaces where you guys were all just like huddled in by the dressing room and you were just kind of like la-di-da and people were watching you. Well, we designed this floor plan so that that room could be a huge open space, beautifully decorated with great lighting, where you and your guests could have cake and champagne with china and stemware, and it just be a beautiful, clean space. Well, that room is yours when you have your payments at 0. So if you are doing a payment plan, we'll talk about that in the phone call. I want to know how much you're putting down. If it's pretty close, we'll definitely be flexible. I'll be able to look at it with you. But if it's not close enough, then I just want you to keep in mind that that is my gift to you when you are taking care of your dress and making it 0. So we'll talk about that in the phone call. Now you've gotten all my hot buttons and you know how the payment plan works. You also know about service fees, some of the things that will trigger you for stress, and my gift with purchase, which is the party room. Let me know how you're doing with this topic. I really like to crunch numbers with you and look at the dates and months, because some of you on a shorter timeline, you realize, you know what, that might not be worth it. Here's what I'm gonna do. Or, you know what, it's not a big deal to just break it up like this, boom, boom, boom. I'm totally in support of that. Let me take a look at your payment plan. You can send it to me in a photo, or you can text it to me if you want to jot it down on a napkin and then snap a photo and send it to me. I just want to take a look at it really quick, see what your plans are, and approve it or not. If I can't approve it, I'll definitely give you some feedback on, hey, what if we did this? And then it'd be a no-brainer. Does that sound good? Okay, great. Well, thank you for bringing this up. I really want to get all our homework done so that when you come in, it just feels like tons of fun and we can just focus on the pretty, wonderful things like finding your wedding dress.